From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, enjoy 3 days of bucking, roping, and thrills at the Red Bluff Roundup. Friday is Patriot Day, brought to you by Food Max and Outback Contractors. Saturday is Sierra Pacific Industries and Windows and Corning Ford Day with an evening concert by Creed Fisher.
Don't tell me that you understand.
Sunday is Davidson and Heyman Family and Dignity Health St. Elizabeth Hospital Tough Enough to Wear Pink Day. Get your tickets now at these locations.
Well, as you do begin to gear up for the Red Bluff Roundup, I've still got those tickets to give away, folks. You got until tomorrow to make those entries because Wednesday morning I'll be making the announcement of who won the 2 tickets for this Friday's Red Bluff Roundup event. Now, again, the winner will be announced on Coffee with Krueger Wednesday morning at 6:30 in the morning on April 16th. Send those emails to mkrueger@weathernorcal.com or just go to weathernorcal.com, click on Contacts in the menu, and just fill out the form, and you'll be entered to win. Hey, take a look at our photo of the day as we start. Of course, as we are in spring, we're starting to see more of those beautiful spring colors come out. I want to thank Steve Koch for sending this in from the Durham area. There you can see some of just a big field of wildflowers. You got the walnut trees, which are also blooming just that time of the year. But of course, as you know, the pollens are going to start kind of kicking in, and I think a lot of allergies too. All right, so here's your weather headlines. Sunny and warm to start the week with those mountain thunderstorms enter the picture tomorrow. And I think really the more active day of the two will be on Wednesday. Gusty north winds for Thursday and Friday as an inside slider moves on in. We're also looking at dry and warmer conditions here, taking you into the weekend. All right, so here is your Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, April 14th. Let's get you out the door this morning, and we are talking mild conditions. You know, one of the cooler spots will be in Modoc County in the mid to upper 30s, but you know, really overall, it's not going to be terribly cool out there for many locations. So you can see the big ridge of high pressure right here. That's the dominant feature. That's what's going to keep us warm today and sunny as well. But we're beginning to see the signs of this ridge of high pressure breaking down, a little bit more moisture, and as a result, we've got the potential for some thunderstorms in the forecast. But again, not today. Let's take a look at that here for today. We're actually looking at mainly sunny skies really across the board. Even the north coast, most likely seeing those mainly sunny skies. A little bit of convective activity near places like Portola in southern Plumas County. So if you see a stray shower this evening, maybe even a thunderstorm in Portola, don't be surprised, but I think most of that activity for now is staying to the south here for today. Stick around for that deeper dive because we're going to talk about the chance for thunderstorms even in the valley. Yeah, a little teaser there. But there you can see for today, look at that. Temperatures mid-80s, even some upper 80s for some of the warmer spots. I'm being a little conservative with these numbers. We'll see. Temperatures in the 70s for most of the higher elevations, but look at Weaverville, Hayfork, low 80s. And for the coast here, you're looking at those temperatures in the upper 60s, even some low 70s for some of those daytime highs. So looking at your 7-day forecast, I don't expect any showers or thunderstorms for the valley on Tuesday, but Wednesday will be that chance. And then once we see that chance move out, we're seeing that inside slider, gusty winds, breezy, borderline windy for your Thursday and Friday. And then going into the weekend, looking at calmer winds and still those warm temperatures and dry really across the board. Now, what you'll notice here, chance for thunderstorms for Weaverville for Tuesday, Wednesday. Very slim chance, better chances on Wednesday, but inland most likely staying dry. Although inland you may see some thunderstorms developing, but I think a lot of the activity will be east of Del Norte and Humboldt counties. So taking a look at Siskiyou, Modoc County in the eastern mountains, also that chance for thunderstorms here for Tuesday, Wednesday. But I think across the board for the mountains in particular, we are looking at better chances and more activity coming in on Wednesday. But there are some select spots on Tuesday that could see some of that activity as well. It dries out. We also, maybe a slight chance for showers for parts of Lassen and Plumas counties by the time we get into Sunday, but that's a long ways out. We'll keep a close eye on for you. All right, that's Krueger's Quickcast. Let's take a look at the free Weather NorCal app that you may or may not know about. If you don't know about it, all you got to do, go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, put a space between Weather and NorCal, download the app for free, and you will be good to go. Check it out. I think you'll like it. So once again, as I mentioned, we've got this ridge of high pressure. You see that arc in the clouds right here. That's what's going to be building in and really has been building in. That's why temperatures have been so mild out there. But we're starting to see some breaks in this. And one of the reasons I say that is because a little bit of a spin right here, that's what's going to be kind of coming in and helping to break down that ridge. Temperatures as a result may start to drop, and there you see the chance for thunderstorms. Now, I think the Storm Prediction Center might be overdoing it in the overall coverage of where we see thunderstorms here for tomorrow. I think best chances will be here off to the east, maybe making its way down into southern parts of Trinity County and maybe some of those foothills west of the valley. But as you head north here, I think the chances will certainly be a bit slimmer. Now, Wednesday, yes, I think better chances, but I do want to bring that up a little bit more to the north, because when we look at Futurecast, you'll see what I'm talking about. So here we are today. As mentioned, it's going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous spring day. Some might even argue that it will be hot, especially in the valley, but temperatures in the 80s is not hot when you compare it to what we're going to see here later on this summer. But we take you into about 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. We're actually starting to see some fog developing, especially around Humboldt Bay. Looks like a few clouds beginning to roll in. We're starting to see more of the moisture move in. So this is what I was talking about on Tuesday. You see how most of it's in the eastern mountains where we're seeing the best potential for showers and some afternoon thunderstorms. The combination of a bit of an upslope wind coming up those mountains and the convection through the day, that's the heating through the day, that heat rises into the colder air aloft, and that's why we see the potential for showers and thunderstorms. That's Tuesday at 2 p.m. Now notice we're still seeing it mainly to the east, but you see a few pop-ups here out towards Siskiyou County, and as I mentioned, maybe down to the south, so parts of southern Trinity County may see some activity. So we can't rule out, even for Trinity County, to maybe see a stray shower or thunderstorm, but it's Wednesday. Wednesday is the day that we've got to watch. And notice we're kind of seeing the bit of a flow around an area of low pressure down to our south and east. What we're seeing here for Wednesday morning is the potential for some of those showers, right? But then we go into the morning hours. Here's midday. You see how the valley is seeing the potential for some of those showers. Can't rule out a thunderstorm for parts of the valley, even around midday on Wednesday. There it is around Trinity County, Siskiyou, really all of the mountains seeing that activity. But look at Del Norte, Humboldt. You're not seeing much activity. In fact, we take you through the afternoon and you can see really not much going on even for the inland areas. Now, Garberville, southern Humboldt County, yeah, maybe a slight chance. And, you know, even Hoopa, a possibility, Willow Creek, but I think most of it will be off to the east. And again, you see how it is making its way into the valley. So we can't rule out a stray shower, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon for the valley. And that, of course, will be the case for the higher elevations. We're reaching a time of the year, by the way, too, where we're just not going to be mentioning snow levels because they're at this point kind of a moot point. It's going to be above 6,000, 7,000 feet. Now, this is, again, one of those things when you're talking about isolated, scattered showers and thunderstorms, these numbers are not a good representation of what you're going to see, but the footprint shows you where most of it will be. Tuesday, Wednesday combined, right? Because Tuesday you've got the better chances for that rain and thunderstorms, and that's why we expect to see more here. Less as you head to the west, because it's not until Wednesday afternoon that we'll get caught up in some of that activity as well. And I think, you know, parts of the valley, including Redding, could see some accumulating rain, and especially if you get caught under one of those thunderstorms. Now, looking at our mid-range forecast, what we're going to start to see is the activity kind of pushing more to the south on Thursday. So you can see down to our south, like Yuba City, Rockland, Sacramento, seeing that chance for a few showers and a few pop-ups trying to develop here in parts of Plumas and even southern Trinity County and even just west of the valley. But overall, Thursday is kind of the back end of all of this, and the chances are diminishing. But then our attention will be on this right here. You know, we talk about these inside sliders with an area of low pressure diving down to the south and east, high pressure to our west, and we get caught between the two, and you get a nice strong, not nice, but a strong wind coming out of the north here for Thursday. That may linger into Friday, although the wind's probably not as bad on Friday because now we're starting to see this kind of spread apart. So the pressure gradient is getting weaker, which means weaker winds as a result. And then really going into the weekend, looks like we're going to see those winds die down even more. Plenty of sunshine. Now, we don't have a ridge of high pressure per se over Northern California, but we don't really have any disturbances moving in. So that for the most part should keep us dry. Although on Sunday, there may be a stray shower for parts of Plumas County and Lassen County as well, but I wouldn't count on a whole lot, if anything, at this point. Now, you can see we're kind of in that borderline warmer to normal conditions here. So temperature-wise, yes, I do expect temperatures to stay above normal, but we're not seeing anything extreme. I think the warmest will be today, and then we're going to kind of average out in the upper 70s to low 80s as we go into the next 9 days after today. So, yes, we're above normal, but again, we're steering clear of those 90s still. Looks good. Remember last week I reported on social media that Phoenix had reported over 100 degrees, breaking records for the first time this year. So we're nowhere near that just yet, folks. We're not going to be looking into these major heat waves. Drier than normal conditions, yes. We're talking about the chance for showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, but I don't think it's going to be enough to bring us to where we should be for this time of the year, as most of that rain will be confined off to the east. Hey, take a look at the lake levels. We're still seeing some great numbers here, folks. And we're getting a lot of that spring melt now coming off the mountains. So about a quarter to a half a foot is what we've seen with the lake levels rising over the last 24 hours. You can see the capacity now at 95% out at Lake Shasta. Suddenly those concerns you had a few months ago when it dropped down to the 80% range, no longer a concern at this point, right? Because they're rising right back up. Take a look at those wave heights. They're not going to be much of a concern here for today, or really tomorrow, although by tomorrow they may start to increase a little bit here. So let's take a look at that marine forecast. North winds at about 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 8 seconds, and from the northwest at 4 feet at 11 seconds. No advisories, at least for today. All right, so take a look at that Trinity County forecast. Gorgeous, right? It's going to be warm. Temperatures in the 80s for most of us. Some of the cooler spots down to the southern Trinity County. There's that chance for thunderstorms. Now, as I mentioned, don't get too concerned about Tuesday. It's Wednesday that we've got the bigger chance for those thunderstorms developing, but we still can't rule out that potential even on Tuesday, especially for southern Trinity County. Now, for the North Coast, you're dry. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of rain or even thunderstorms, especially for the inland areas on Tuesday. However, Wednesday may be a slight chance. Otherwise, it's dry. Most of the activity will be east of the North Coast. Now, for Siskiyou County, there's that chance. Once again, best chances will be Wednesday. Then Thursday, looks like you're dry, and then dry through the weekend. There's your Modoc County neighborhood forecast. All still the best chances on Wednesday. We are looking at those dry and cooler conditions for Thursday, Friday, warming back up in the mid to upper 60s by this weekend. And the eastern mountains, once again, same situation. Although by Tuesday, yes, better chances on Tuesday and Wednesday. Both are equal chances because it's Tuesday. It's mainly in the eastern mountains that we'll see the bulk of the thunderstorm activity here. Temperatures today, though, are going to be in the 70s, maybe even around 80, close to 80 degrees for places like Paradise. Here's your valley neighborhood forecast to the south. Temperatures in the mid. And, you know, I'm a little conservative with some of these numbers. Some of you could reach those upper 80s for today. I've got that chance in there for Wednesday. And, you know, maybe eventually even kind of committing a little bit more and putting an actual thunderstorm in there for Wednesday, because it could happen, folks. And then the attention goes more into Thursday, Friday with those winds. And for your Easter Sunday, looks like you will be dry for those Easter egg hunts. Let's take you up to the north. 86 for Cottonwood, Red Bluff. That seems to be the magic number in the valley, actually, with 82 degrees for Whiskeytown and 83 degrees out in Lakehead. We take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. As mentioned, I do expect dry conditions and warm conditions today, mainly dry for your Tuesday with partly cloudy skies. Most of the thunderstorms will be east of the valley. There's a chance for showers and thunderstorms Wednesday with gusty winds returning on Thursday, Friday, warming back up generally in the upper 70s to low 80s for Thursday through this upcoming weekend. That's your morning update. Have yourselves a great morning.
Caltrans is doing the best that they can with the amount of people and the amount of equipment they have, and they're out there trying to keep the roads safe and trying to keep everybody running, because if the roads shut down, truck drivers that are paid by the miles aren't making any money. So we want everybody to put chains on for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. It's not worth it to drive without chains.